Hey guys, Austin here with Hope to Cope, checking in today to remind you that you are a miracle and you have a purpose. So you may feel alone right now in your life. And I'm here today just to remind you that you are not alone. As alone as you may feel, you are not alone. Help is around, support is there. At times, though, it's important to go through certain valleys where the aloneness teaches us and helps us to experience things that will bless us later down the road. So there's this idea that your mess can become your message. And so I've had times in my life where I felt utterly alone, where I felt like my anchor was ripped away from me. The only anchor I ever had, which was God. Even God was ripped out of my life. And when I cried to God, there was no answer. It was left with an emptiness. Felt like I was hitting a ceiling and there was nothing there. No feeling, no answer, nothing. And that persisted for several years. Every once in a while there'd be maybe a glimmer or a little piece of something, but it was not what I was accustomed to. Up until this point, I felt like I had a very close relationship with God and that I could talk to him as a friend. And I carried conversations with God. I felt like I got answers really quickly. And then, towards the end of 2019, in the year 2019, everything was just gone. And as much as I cried, as much as I tried, there was no answer, and I felt utterly alone. I felt like I was cut off from everything. I was floating. I was aloof. I had no tie, no anchor. I didn't know necessarily who I was, where I was going in my life, and it felt like everything was falling apart and I was just floating with nothing. And through that journey, I learned a lot more about myself than I ever would have before. In a way, I felt like, I was actually codependent on God. I needed God to tell me what to do, how to do things. And I was seeking that validation. I was seeking that approval. And I needed that in order for me to be okay. Through this process, God has taught me that I'm a big kid. And it's okay for me to do things on my own. It's okay for me to know who I am and what I want and do things that I want for the sake of me. And so in the process, I've learned more about me. I was able to find more confidence in myself, and my relationship with God is there. It's just different than it was before. It's different than it was before, but it's still there. And I see God around in so many different areas. In a session that I was in yesterday, actually several of my sessions throughout the day, I saw God's hand multiple times throughout people's lives. People who've been in and out of jail multiple times, people who've been spiritual and lived very strict religious lives their whole lives, and then have felt that they've been abandoned and lost. And I saw God's hand in all of these experiences, and all of them were mentioning how they felt loved, how they felt supported, and how they felt God was blessing them in their lives, and how amazing it was. But each and every one of them have gone through some deep, dark, heavy valleys. And so you might find yourself in one of those valleys right now. And that's okay. It may be difficult, it may be heavy, but I'm here today to tell you that you will get through this. And that although you feel alone, you are not alone. You are loved, you are supported, and for whatever reason at this time in your journey, this is what you're being asked to experience, to learn, to grow, and to become the you that you were born to be. In order for you to be who you were born to be, life couldn't have happened any other way. That's one of my favorite quotes by Matt Kahn from the book, The Universe Always Has a Plan. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. So thank you for being you. You are a miracle. You do have a purpose. Your life is beautiful and worth living. You may not see it right now, but you are painting a massive portrait. You're making a tapestry that's gorgeous. And you may not know how all the threads and all the strikes and everything's coming together, but in the end, you'll see the beauty of your life and of your picture. You really do matter. You are a miracle. You do have a purpose. If this message today was for you, go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and remember that I'm here at Hope to Cope every day, checking in to give you a message of hope and to remind you that you are a miracle and you have a purpose.